Hi guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on all kinds of things, but we are on the stimulus train to hopefully, I was going to say Wealthville. I don't necessarily think Wealthville is where we're going, but at least not Poverty Lane. How about that? Can we get out of the poverty metro and just get somewhere into decent-ishly comfortable or even a little bit head above water? And of course I'm going to forget this, so just another reminder, $100 gift card giveaway in this video. Very simple, this is all you have to do. Like every video you see, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content. Boom, you're entered, you're eligible. That's all you have to do. Do this for every video you see, guys. And guys, the rule is now, we have a new rule. The more comments you leave, the more chances you have to win. So if you leave 100 comments, 100 times more chance to win. Good luck. I will announce winners on Monday. Also, if you need more one-on-one help with your stimulus than what we can give you, I have a Facebook page and a group for free where we're helping everybody. It's just a group of people. We're all helping one another. So make sure and go to my Facebook page, Katie's Insight. Like the page, go to the group. The group right now is Katie's Corner. Will be changed to Katie's Insight soon. Go in there, ask all the stimulus questions you want. Ask questions for your specific area as well. So go in there and you can get that information. We have tons of people, like British Gray in there. One of our moderators, she's helping people for free. We're just helping. There's no money for this. We're just wanting to help people because we know that you guys are struggling. So this is another way we can do that. And make sure and share this with people that you know that might be struggling, that maybe need some help. We're not selling anything. We just really want to help everybody because we all don't want to starve. Okay, on with the video. Also, this is round 2 or 3 of fighting with this top. And I want to say thank you to all you lovely, lovely people. I've been in the comments this morning responding. You guys have helped my first video do so well. The first video for my channel has done really well. So I want to give you guys big love and props and thank you for that. And I want to thank you. There's so many of you said you love my shirt. So here's the thing though. This is a trick because check this out. Boom! It's actually a dress. This is what they call a maxi dress. And if you guys have seen me wear it in other videos, it was frustrating because I love this color. I love the color. Like I love pinks. I love peaches. And I think on my skin and my hair, they look okay. So I love this color. However, I couldn't really, like, even though this is really big, right, on the chesticles, I couldn't really fit into, hold on, let me move my mic. Okay, I hope that's better. I have a new computer and I'm still figuring out the mic situation. So if the sound is going out, my apologies. I'm trying to fix things. What was I saying? Oh, my dress. Okay. So it was really hard around the chesticles. So on the channel before, if you ever saw me in this dress, you would see this was like way up here and stuff would be all askewed and a mess. So now that I've lost more weight and I'm continuing to, it's a very slow back and forth process with me because my weight's determined by, a lot of it's determined from histamine because I have histamine issues that we're working on. But I can now kind of wear this more as a normal dress. But the problem is, as I've told y'all, and you guys know this as women, you'll understand, especially in the chesticle area. I'm in between sizes with bras, with everything. So it's kind of a nonstop fight. So I promise I'm not sitting here thinking I'm all that and trying to show it off. And you know what? I guess if I did, I wouldn't care. I'm not really that person though. And if you're that person, girl, rock what you have if you want to do whatever you want to do or don't want to do. It is up to you. I'm just telling y'all, none of it is intentional. I'm just fighting with my clothes until this shrinks up a little bit more. So it's a dress. And for those of you who are wondering where I got it, I think I got it on a place called amiclubwear.com. AMI. So like Amy, Mary, Igloo, and then clubwear.com. I feel like I got it maybe in 2016 or 7. I think it's like 2016 probably. A lot of my clothing was from when I was super small. So it's, again, I'm in weird in between phases, which is why like I went and bought some shirts recently because either my clothes are way super small or they're from when I was bigger. But that's where I got it from. They probably don't have it now, but here is a trick because I love online shopping. Y'all, I have lists of stuff that I've been saving, stuff that I want to buy for 5 or 6 years, and then I just parcel it out over time when I have the money. Or like when I was sick and I was gaining weight and I couldn't fit the things I wanted to, I really wasn't spending much on clothes for about 2 or 3 years. But before that, when I was doing well, you know, I'm not somebody, I don't party, I don't drink, I don't go out a lot. I don't even go to restaurants much. I do a lot of cooking at home because of my health issues. So I would budget $100 to $200 a month of my fun money was clothes. So I have a huge wardrobe. So one of these days, if you guys want, I'll show off everything. It's insane. But If you want to try to find this, then I would suggest looking at Chinese distributors, because typically a lot of these stores, that's where they get stuff from anyways, like Asian distributors. So my favorites are DHgate, AliExpress, Alibaba. Those are the three I typically look at. And if you look up peach maxi dress, this might come up. So just thought I'd let y'all know, it is, I tricked you. It is not a shirt, it is actually a dress, but I really, really like it. So, okay, anyways, that was a really long introduction. Let's talk stimulus. If you saw some of my videos from earlier, I'm not sure what order things are going up in, so forgive me on that. I always kind of pick last minute and try to fit things in. Typically, I have things filmed ahead of time if I am able to. So this video is, if you saw some of the other videos that I did, like for instance, we talked about there is a $1,200 stimulus check that's coming to you if you are in New Mexico. So go check that out. And I'm going to keep giving information from the different states because, as I said, and keep in mind, because the federal government is failing us, and I doubt they're going to do anything between now and probably February, the states are going to step up with their CARES Act money to help, and we're hearing it more and more. And as time goes on, between now and December, we'll hear more from that. So make sure, pay attention to these videos, watch to the end, and listen to see what's going on in your state. So hopefully you can get some of that money and capitalize on some of that. So just to kind of give you a heads up, but where are we at? Well, we continue to sit with our nothing burger, no condiments, no ketchup, no mustard, maybe not even a little bit of government cheese at this point. I feel like this is my diet. We are living right now in the time of my all meat, nothing else diet. It's gross. So that's where we're at with stimulus. So we have everybody fighting right now, but nobody actually doing anything. So we have the Democrats, as you guys know, screaming, Mitch McConnell, he won't do anything. We're going to get Mitch McConnell on board. Mitch McConnell can't negotiate. But then we had the Treasury free up almost $500 billion to go back to the Congress to be able to help with more stimulus. And Mitch McConnell said, I'm on board. And where's Nancy and Schumer? Crickets. And everybody, of course, is on break because these senators that get paid minimum $180,000 a year need weeks and months of time off. Not to mention, guys, all the money they get from other places. So that's a fraction of what they get. I love a lot of these Democrats who say they're for forms of socialism and communism. I laugh and I'm like, no, you're not. You all have multiple homes and you're millionaires. So you don't actually believe in or agree with those philosophies. You agree with it for other people so you can keep them controlled. But then, as I've said, different forms of socialism can be great if they're done right. You can have democratic socialism, or you can have socialist policies within a capitalistic system, which really is what we have in America anyway. I'm like, there's got to be a way, and this is always how I see things, there's got to be a way to merge all the worlds, take the best of all the things, know where the weaknesses are, be careful and look out for them, because Social Security, that's a form of socialism. You can do these things correctly, and I say this as somebody from living in countries like France. I've lived in a country that has democratic socialism, so on this end, I somewhat know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have more insight. It's always funny when people will try to debate me on this. They're like, you say this and you don't even know. You've never even been to a socialist country. And I'm like, actually, I've lived there. It's funny. I was one of those people that in 2004, every political cycle that we have, when their person doesn't win, I'm going to so-and-so country. Well, when Bush won, I said in 2004, I was like, that's it, I'm leaving. But I really wasn't leaving because I didn't really care as much about Bush, even though the climate was really bad. But it was bad where back then the conservatives were really mean. It was like, gay people shouldn't have rights. Who do they think they are? So it was a very different climate. There was one of the few people that actually did leave. I always get irritated when I see that. I'm not leaving the country. I'm like, no, you're not. Do you know how much time and energy and planning and money it takes to actually go somewhere else? I do. Well, it depends on the country. Some countries will let you in easier, but because of everything going on in the world, a lot of countries have really locked down all of those policies. So I guess it just depends. But now, because of what Steve Mnuchin has done with the Treasury, right? Because he's freed up all this money. Now, we have Mitch McConnell who said, let's go. I'm ready to come to the table. Because we know Mitch doesn't want to spend more than $1 trillion. Really, he didn't want to spend more than $500 billion. So he sees money there. Let's capitalize. Crickets from the Democrats. What in the flip is happening? However, we do have some glimmers of hope about this situation coming in that I want to show. So for instance, we're starting to hear more and more information and rumors that President Trump may be looking into doing things to help everybody with stimulus. Now, we didn't think that was going to happen, but let me kind of give you a quick rundown of why. Why was saying all of his energy is going to be focused right now on overturning this election that he's going to try to do. And, you know, logically, it makes sense, right? It would make sense that he would want to do that. However, on the flip side of that, now he's getting information that says, so things are getting so bad that if you don't do something to help, you're going to look like the president who let things go to crap. And if you're going to try to run in 2024, if you can't get back in this election, this does not bode well for you. So we're hearing that he might actually try to do some executive moves, some executive order moves to help us. I have more information coming about that, so stay tuned. And that's something I'm going to keep track of. And that could happen in December or even January. I would think if he was going to do something, he would try to do it sometime in December because of the Christmas holiday. And that's a very big economically booming month. I don't know if you guys know, but Black Friday, one of my favorite, I call it a holiday. Black Friday is a holiday for me because I love shopping. When I say I love shopping, I love specific things. I love clothing. Clothing is art. You know, my body sprays, you can't see them. They're so pretty. I'll take a picture of everything organized. I love this stuff. It's art for me. So I'm really keen into like how Black Fridays go. And this one was really bad. And that is not good for the economy because, you know, Black Friday is kind of like one of the one days a year that a lot of times that's really the big bang for people to be making money between then and Christmas. But people aren't spending. And can you blame them? Why would they at this point, you know? So, you know, he's so big on wanting things to look good for the economy that there are two schools of thought going on to this. And one is, and we've heard him and his people say, well, if he goes and we don't want him to look like he's the person that put everybody in debt, so he's not going to do anything. But then we've also heard, yeah, but if he wants to have a shot in 2024 at this point, if things don't go well, we don't want him to be the president that's let everything go to crap with not helping enough. So it looks like from all the insiders we're hearing about, that element for him is starting to shift, which is good for us. Now, here's the other interesting part. Let's get in the meat and bones of what I want to talk about. Y'all know it's 10 minutes of BS or disclaimers or here's what's happened to lead up to where we're at now. So a couple interesting things are coming down the pipeline we're going to talk about. And one of the biggest ones is the stopgap. Now, what is the stopgap? You've probably heard this word if you've been following my channel. So stopgap is that gap where because we don't have the stimulus money, we don't have the money that we need, the government could shut down. So the stopgap is basically a way to have gap funding to keep the government going. And so far, anytime we've had this, it seems like everybody on all sides of the government are all for it, including Trump. In fact, we had one in October. We thought then we might get a package because the airlines are going under quickly, and nothing happened except they did do a stopgap. So basically, as Nancy Pelosi said, she's not going to piecemeal any part of the stimulus deal except for the post office, which helped her with the election. Oh, and the stopgap, which protected her money. So we've heard rumors about this, and I'm going to go into this. The rumors are that, and it's not just rumors, we've actually heard it from Trump's people, that Trump may not sign anything for the government to keep going. Now, I know I kind of giggle, but it's a double-edged sword. So on the one hand, I would love to see all these people stop getting paychecks. But on the other hand, doing this ends up screwing over a ton of workers, period, the regular people. And I don't want that to happen. But wouldn't we love for all these people to stop taking a paycheck until they get their you-know-what together and try to help? Because they're all on break right now. I mean, how many times have I shown you guys the weeks and the months they have off a year to make almost 200,000 starting? It's flipping disgusting. It's just so gross. Like, none of these people have to suffer whatsoever in their situations and positions, and they're just so flippant on both sides. The fact that Nancy Pelosi won't even look at a smaller bill before a bigger bill makes me want to gag. And the fact that evil Mitch McConnell doesn't want to do anything over $500 billion, and then what he does doesn't really go that far to help people. Like, he doesn't care about starving kids. He's explained that. They're all awful. And I hate these people. But Mark Meadows came out and he said the other day, and I have a video that detailed this because I talked about possible executive orders or different things going on because we still have election games going on. I know the media's been quieter about it, but guys, just because they've been quieter doesn't mean things aren't still going to get weird. I told you, I think between now and the end of January, it's going to get weird. And we've even been having Trump. Trump has even come out recently and said a lot of information is going to come out between now and then. And all the things we've learned this year, like about, you know, people named Jeffries who might have airplanes, things like that. I am very interested, to see either way how this goes and what possible information we're going to continue to learn about how things really work, the really dark stuff. I'm glad these things are coming to light. But here's where we're at. Trump may not sign that stopgap. So they are coming back right now. So after this week, we have the Congress coming back in session. I believe they have like 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, they are 2 like business weeks. They are trying to get a few things passed. One is going to be the stopgap, and that's for the government. The other one, it looks like they might try to do something for stimulus. Don't get too excited though. I will go into what that is. But with the stopgap, I want you guys to understand. So it looks like December 2nd is what we see on the calendar for them to go and do the stopgap and try to get that passed. So it has to go through the House, then the Congress, or sorry, not the House, the House, the Senate, and then the White House. But we just had Mark Meadows come out and say, we don't know if Trump's going to sign it. And things will get very weird if Trump decides not to sign. By the way, I'm not saying I am for or against. I am saying it's going to get weird if he doesn't sign something and put something in place. Now, he might not because he has some secret hidden master plans we don't know about. Because remember, love him or hate him, he's a big old chess player. He's a grandmaster chess player. You can hate him. He says stupid stuff sometimes, but he is very intelligent. To have the level of successes in multiple areas that he has, you have to. And I hear people saying, I have this in their video, they're like, yeah, but he's had a lot of failures. So have I. Anybody who's been successful has had a ton of failures. Your successes aren't measured by your failures. Your successes are measured by where and how many times you could be successful. Being super successful at the top of your game in just one area, that's lightning striking alone is pretty good. To make it happen multiple times in multiple areas, you've got to be intelligent. I don't care what the circumstances are. So he might have some big chess game going on that we just don't know about and we're not quite privy to. But you got people like me who can kind of look in there, dissect the information and see what's going on. And I will always report it back to you and try to help us in terms of what in the HELL is going on and what can we expect at this point. So here's where we're at. Trump may not sign it, but they are coming back December 2nd. Now, December 11th is the cutoff date. December 11th is when all the money goes and there's nothing else they can do for the government and the government shuts down. Now, is it possible that Trump's going to let that happen, turn around and do some executive orders, which looks like he might be looking at again? Now, how and where he'd get that money from, I don't know. However, nobody predicted he'd get that money from FEMA. It looks like from what we've heard from all the lawyers, they have said when it comes to Trump getting that money from the Treasury and the Fed that's getting released, he cannot do anything with it. He has tried. If you guys remember, I had a video, or if I didn't put it up yet, I will, where I go over, that was September 4th, that press conference where Trump basically said there's a theory I can get this money and help people with it. And I think that was more of a light, kind of a push. I wish I could say the word, but I can't. It was a push to Congress saying, get it done or I'll do it. So that's where we're at. But right now, the new timeline we're looking at is December 2nd and December 7th, because it looks like around this time, they will be voting on a few different things. They're going to vote on the stopgap, and it looks like they're going to try to throw stimulus in there. Now, we've had both parties publicly saying we want to get stimulus passed before the end of the year. We've had them both saying that. However, the actions don't match up, because Mitch McConnell has never been to any of these private negotiations, ever. And now suddenly there's money free. He's saying, I want to be there. We've had Nancy Pelosi and Schumer who've been there, but then say it's all Mitch's fault. But now Mitch is coming to the table and saying, let's negotiate, and they are quiet. So my assumption is, as I've said, I think that when we have Nancy Pelosi and we have Schumer, I think we're in a situation with those two where they don't want anything to pass until their boy Biden is firmly in office, because I don't think they're pretty secure about what's going on there. And I also think that the Republicans don't want to do anything until they know who's in office. So I kind of think Mitch saying, let's come to the table and do something now, I think it's a bluff. Honestly, I think from evil old Mitch, this is the bluff, and he's just trying to call the Democrats out on their BS. So once again, we're political pawns, but it is possible something could pass in the next week to 2 weeks. I have a little information, as y'all know I always do. I try to come correct at y'all. So let's go ahead and let's pull this up and see exactly what's happening. So this gives a lot of good information on where we're at and where we're going with in December. It says, this is from cnet.com. It says stimulus package. Congress preps for final sprint on a deal before 2020 ends. Can you imagine? It was March 2020 that we got the first deal and all of this craziness really came about. We are now in December and we don't know if we're going to have anything else passed. Can you imagine it was going to take this long? The urgency is rising to restart productive stimulus negotiations as time runs short to pass a bill before the end of the year. Congress returns to Washington on Monday, facing a full plate of goals and little time to craft them into law before the end of 2020. The most pressing, apart from funding the government past December 11th, is more virus relief aid, a stimulus package that has eluded worrying lawmakers since May. Time is ticking. The House of Representatives has 9 official in-session days, and the Senate 14 days before both House breaks before the new year. 14 days, y'all. So what is that? So it's so in days. So that would be about between 2 and 3 weeks, somewhere in the 2.5 week-ish mark. However, with less than a month to debate, draft and vote a new virus relief package. And remember, we have to have both the House and the Senate agree. You have to have both. Congress is expected to work overtime, including weekends. Are they really? Can we really expect they're going to do that? After the last votes on December 4th, House members are encouraged to remain in Washington, and the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said Friday, based on multiple reports, that conversations surrounding legislation related to government funding, virus relief, and NDAA are ongoing. These bills will be considered by House as soon as they are ready. The Senate and the House leaders can recall members at any time for a special vote. So what they mean is they can call them back while they're on these massive breaks to come in and vote. Doubt they will, but they can. The next wave of aid aimed at individuals and the economy could include a second stimulus check, extra unemployment money for job seekers, and crucial funding for small businesses. So we pray. Sharpening the urgency of approving more aid, current forecasts predict that the U.S. could see a total of 294,000 to 321,000 virus deaths reported by December 19th, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention said on November 25th. In the U.S., over 263,000 people have lost their lives as a result of the virus, according to Johns Hopkins University. That's potentially up to 18% increase in virus deaths in 22 days, following the mathematical model. On Wednesday, the country recorded over 181,000 new cases and nearly 3,000 deaths from the disease. In addition to loss of life, the numbers of Americans who can afford food is skyrocketing, and job loss is up. In the U.S., 20 million renters are at risk of losing their homes after eviction protections end December 31st, according to the Aspen Institute. If something doesn't get done in D.C., I think we're going to see another wave of need and increased demand for food, said Los Angeles Regional Food Bank CEO Michael Flood, according to CNBC. Y'all, I'm going to read this again just because it's is this real? Is this America 2020 for real? In addition to loss of life, a number of Americans who can't afford food is skyrocketing. And here Nancy Pelosi sits there and goes, we're not going to piecemeal unless it's for the election. How transparent is she? I'm sorry. I know I'm just getting hyped and mad. How transparent is she, y'all? So it says, and then somebody who is a CEO at a regional food bank is saying we're going to see food shortages. What is happening? Without another cash infusion into economic relief programs, the final protections dry up in a little over a month, leaving tens of millions of Americans without a safety net as the pandemic continues with renewed force. If you see me rolling my eyes, I'm furious when I read this. The pandemic is raging and it's starting to do damage again. Mark Zandi, an economist at Moody's Analytics, told the New York Times this week, predicting that the economy will contract in the first half of 2021 without more stimulus. It's already doing it. We're already starting to see that unemployment number go up. We knew we would if we didn't get help. We knew it was just a matter of time. If time is the most immediate barrier to Congress reaching a deal, the deep chasm between Republicans and Democrat positions on what a stimulus package should entail is the most bruising roadblock. In the 8 months since the CARES Act passed in March, the two sides have held fast to their respective positions. Democrats favoring a large bill with a second stimulus check and Republicans embracing a smaller relief package as a stopgap until the first mass virus vaccines are administered in mid-2021. Parentheses. Here's what could happen if a new bill passes with no stimulus check. That's another article I won't get into. As a result, there is more pressure for the President-elect Joe Biden, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to support a smaller stimulus package than the $2.2 trillion HEROES Act that Democrats have backed since May. The bill would include a second direct payment for qualified adults, only one, guys, and more money for dependents, plus enhanced unemployment benefits and funding for more programs besides. The idea behind the strategy shift would be to get some aid through before Biden's January 20th inauguration, try to pass a larger bill after he takes office. Who else is offended that they're only doing one round of stimulus checks? Anybody else? Because I'm gonna double hand this. I'm gonna double fist this. This is making me so mad. On November 23rd, a transition insider denied the claim that Biden's transition team reportedly urged Democratic leaders in Congress to strike a deal now, according to a tweet from the Washington Post, Jeff Stein. Here's what we know about the negotiation stand right now and what could happen before the end of the year. How quickly could a new stimulus package be passed? Here are some possible scenarios that could play out over the coming weeks and months, depending on what happens in Washington. So it says this is where they could vote. The House could vote December 9th. Senate votes December 10th. President signs December 11th. So let's just entertain, right? That on the 2nd, when they're trying to do these votes, when this is scheduled in the Congress, that it goes from the House, the 2nd, to the Senate, the 3rd, and the president on the 4th, okay? It's possible. And then on top of that, we have the Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin saying it can take all of 2 weeks to start getting checks out. And the unemployment systems are up and running, so I don't think it would be such a huge pain to get people the help they need now because they have an infrastructure in place. However, they're saying if it was February 1st, it'd go through February 2nd, February 3rd. They're also looking at February 16th and March 16th, but again, it would just be a couple days in between. A stimulus bill is completed before January 20th. Now, here's what they're saying. An agreement is made and the current House and Senate vote before the new Congress is seated in January. If Trump signs the rescue bill into law, stimulus checks and other aid would likely begin to go out within weeks, with certain groups receiving financial help before the end of 2020. It says negotiators agree on a stimulus deal, but it fails in either side of the Senate or the House. In this situation, Democrats and Republicans could advance their own proposals that might pass in their majority chambers, but fail to be considered by the other, which is what we keep seeing, guys. In this case, Congress may try again after Biden is sworn in as president. Unfortunately, that's probably what we're going to be looking at unless we have some great emergency executive order come down the pipeline. Some funding could be included in the bill that also funds the government past December 11th. It's possible that one piece of funding, for example, a stimulus check, unemployment aid, or an extension of the eviction stay could make it into a bill to keep the government funded past December 11th and avoid a shutdown. As sitting president, Trump would need to sign a bill into law for that to take effect. And we know Trump may not do that, as he has said. Talks once again fall apart until after January 20th. If partisan difference keep a bill from passing, it's likely they'll restart in some capacity after the inauguration in January. And so then it says, here are some things that Biden could do immediately if the stimulus bill doesn't pass and he's sworn in as president. I'm not going to go into that. If a bill does not pass that includes a direct payment, and then it says, here's how quickly the IRS could try to get a stimulus check if we have a bill that does pass that includes a direct payment. So then, why the White House's $2.2 trillion package still matters. On October 1st, the House of Representatives passed a revised HEROES Act that included a second stimulus check and additional benefits, such as enhanced unemployment benefits for tens of millions of Americans. The House bill, endorsed primarily by Democrats, was not expected to advance through the Republican-controlled Senate, and indeed has not. It provides a framework that Pelosi is working from, however, that has the support of Biden and could figure into future negotiations, depending on election results that could potentially shift the balance one way or another. The vote was thought to provide cover for the House of Democrats as they campaign without a new relief bill, much as the Senate did earlier in September for Republican members with its $650 billion skinny bill that went all of nowhere. Following the vote, McConnell and Senate Republicans have shifted their support to a smaller $500 million proposal. Biden on November 16th called for Congress to pass the revised HEROES Act. Now, then it says, which programs do Republicans and Democrats agree on? Proposals from both sides have included another stimulus payment of up to $1,200 for individuals who meet the requirements, although the Senate's $500 billion bill does not include a second stimulus check, aid for airlines, enhanced unemployment insurance, and extending the Paycheck Protection Program for businesses. Why would it? Why would the Republicans want to help anybody? The two sides also agree on more financial assistance for virus testing and vaccine deployment. Although the Senate's targeted bill, which does not advance, did not include stimulus checks, Republicans, including those in the Senate, have supported them. So this is where we're at right now, and I have a little more information on what's coming up with this vote that I do want to go over with you guys. So here it is. So this is from WashingtonPost.com. It says, shutdown deadline nears as White House Congress tangle over VA funding. So this is another one that's in the way. Negotiators must resolve differences by December 11th or government shutdown will begin. So here's another issue. Let's look. The Trump administration is injecting new demands into congressional negotiations over a government spending bill that threatens to sink the must-pass package. People familiar with discussion aides have said. The disagreement and concerns how to classify $12.5 billion in cost increase in veterans' health care expenses that are part of veterans' care changes signed into law by President Trump in 2018 with much fanfare. Can we just get it together and help the most vulnerable in our society, like the veterans, the disabled, chronically sick, the elderly, please, people on benefits? The impasse could complicate the ongoing negotiations over legislation to fund the government, which, if not resolved, would lead to the federal government to shut down on December 11th. In the middle of the pandemic, a dangerous scenario lawmakers are working to avoid. Months ago, lawmakers agreed to designate the increased cost of veterans' health care as emergency spending. Emergency spending isn't subject to certain spending restrictions. But on Friday, administration officials insisted to congressional officials that the $12.5 billion in veterans' care cost increases be considered non-emergency spending, said people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to provide details about the private negotiations. Hold on. So they all agreed to get this money to them, and they agreed it would be emergency spending, but emergency spending isn't subject to certain spending restrictions. But on Friday, the administration officials insisted to congressional officials that the $12.5 billion in veterans' care cost increase be considered non-emergency spending. What are they doing? What are they doing? Current budget law allows for only a $5 billion increase on overall non-defense discretionary spending for this year. Some Republican lawmakers believe that the veterans' funding should be counted as non-emergency spending, which will prevent further increase in spending elsewhere. Okay, so if it's non-emergency spending, then they couldn't go spend it elsewhere, it looks like. Congressional Democrats have insisted the veterans' funding be excluded from non-discretionary spending. In 2019, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin disagreed on whether to count the veterans' funding against the caps for non-defense spending. The amount of money in dispute represents a tiny fraction of the overall federal deficit, which soared above $3 trillion under Trump due to the government's extraordinary effort to fight the virus. Congressional aides were informed on Friday of the administration's new plan. The People said it was not immediately clear how Trump himself is directly involved in the request. A lot of promises have been made to veterans for improved health care for years. And without funding to implement those promises are hollow. Yeah, they don't happen. Veterans are out there to fight for themselves, just like the sick, the disabled, and the elderly. So one of those people familiar with the talks. The people also cautioned that the talks were fluid and subject to change. A White House spokesman declined to request to comment. The Treasury Department did not immediately comment. It was unclear how serious the rift over the veterans' spending issue complicates negotiations to avert a government shutdown. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said earlier this week that he could not guarantee lawmakers would avert the shutdown, which would arrive amid a surge in virus cases and expiration of other federal protections across the country. Because as we know as well, we have unemployment ending, eviction moratorium, and student loan debt help. That's all ending at the end of December. The VA Mission Act, which received overwhelming support in Congress as a $55 billion package that greatly expands access to private doctors for veterans at taxpayer cost. It was meant to address significant shortcomings in the Department of Veterans Affairs' healthcare system, which were particularly highlighted in a 2014 scandal in which VA employees are found to have fudged patient wait lists. So here's where we're at, is that it seems like a lot of what's going on right now, unfortunately, is going to hinge upon what happens with the veterans' relief when it comes to their health care. Why are we fighting about how we should misappropriate funds for the most vulnerable in our society? Oh, because it's America in 2020. And it's not just 2020. It's been this way. It's just as I said. One of the good things about 2020 is 2020 shone a huge, flipping, massive, hot, white, bright light on so many issues we have in this country that need fixed that people either haven't cared about, we've been too lazy, we didn't have the energy, or we've been brainwashed to believe don't exist. One that I have personally fought, a battle I've personally fought that I know many of you that are watching have fought, has to do with healthcare. Has to do with, we look at the sick, the disabled, the chronically sick as kind of lazy, push through it. We have this really extreme American work ethic, and I'm not saying that's bad, but we have some real negative connotations to it. Sometimes some of the most hardest working people get hit with chronic illness because they're too hardworking. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. You guys know me. You've watched me grow. I'm obsessive when it comes to my work, so much that I will hurt myself. But a lot of people don't understand that, so they just look at us as lazy, push through it. Well, sometimes you get to a point where your health gets so bad you can't push through it without hurting yourself or other people. When I say other people, I mean, there was a time that driving was dangerous for me and the people around me because I could have a collapse. I could have a heart episode. I could have, I could black out. I could be on a brink of a seizure. There are all these things that could happen, but we don't really have systems in place to help people like me. And that's what it is. That's why I get so furious when I hear about stuff like this, or when I hear about, the virus pandemic and all these able-bodied, well people saying they're doing this to help me when I have my physical issues. I can't wear the masks. It bothers me. They say there's ways around it. There's delivery. Yeah, but a lot of times that costs more money and you can't always get what you need. So it's like, that's limited as well. But, and I get it. People who are able-bodied don't think about this. I know I have a lot of boomers. I know I have a lot of greatest generationers. I have a lot of older people, hi, who watch my channel. And you guys are now at that age that you understand how important this stuff is. And I just hope that with all of these issues that 2020 has had come down the pipeline, I'm praying that we can get some more relief and get some more help for people like us, and we can put more of a focus on actually making people healthy in this country, because the amount of people that are skyrocketing with different illnesses like autoimmune illnesses, diabetes, chronic pain issues, all of these different things that keep coming, these new illnesses, they're not coming out of nowhere. Something's going on, and I hope we can now come together and fix it, because it's being affected by more and more people, and we're just kind of told to sit down, shut up, and suffer, especially if you're a woman. From the time we're between 10 to about 14 years old, we're taught half your life, a fourth to half of your life, you're going to be sick. There's nothing you can do about it. There is no sympathy for you. Shut up. So we're very much brainwashed in this society about things like that, which is sad. But again, it is what it is for now. So what we're looking at, just to recap, we're looking at December as a possible timeline to be able to get executive orders done. Or at least right now, there is a vote between December 2nd and 7th to try to get something passed for us. If it's not the stopgap, then in terms of getting some type of bill passed, even if it's something small, it's going to happen. I don't know yet. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and see. I have a feeling it's just more of a, it's just a song and dance. I feel like this is show pony stuff. So I don't necessarily know that's going to go anywhere, but I guess we can try to be as hopeful as we possibly can. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please help me out and give me a very big, awesome thumbs up. Like the video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified what's coming to the pipeline for you and your stimulus money. Also, sound off in the comments. Y'all know I want to hear everything y'all have to say. And please share this content with as many people as you know who are struggling right now or it could help. People who are on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, stimulus checks, SB loan and grant issues, and everything in between. Y'all know I got tons of tools and tons of resources to help you guys during this very difficult time. And I would love nothing more than to do just that. And guys, the more you like, subscribe, comment, notifications, and share my content, the more my channel grows. The more my channel grows, the more things I can do to get back to you guys. So for instance, our $100 gift card giveaway, very simple to be entered. This is all you have to do. Like every video you see, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. You're entered, you're eligible, that's all you have to do. Make sure and do it for every video that you see. And guys, the new rule, the more comments you leave, the more times you share, the more chances you have to be eligible to win. So if you comment 100 times more chance to win a gift card. I am announcing 2 winners because I know I skipped a week, so I have 2 winners coming up on Monday. So make sure Monday, watch the video start to finish to see if you won. As well, guys, if you need more stimulus help, go to my Facebook page, Katie's Insight. Join the group, Katie's Corner. Will be changed to Katie's Insight soon. Ask all the stimulus questions you want. We have moderators in there for free, and we are helping people one-on-one find stimulus money in their area. It's completely for free. Nobody's getting paid. I'm not even getting paid to try to get this Facebook page up. I'm just trying to help people right now. That's all that I want to do is help you guys and help people through this situation. So you can go in there. British Gray is awesome. Ramel Graves is awesome. We have tons of people who are helping each other try to find stimulus money in their areas where they are affected. So go on in there, share it with friends and family who are struggling, and maybe we can get y'all some help. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this video here now. And I'm just going to keep getting stuff out there and making content so you know what's coming. This has been Katie, and thank you so much for listening to my insight on things. Take care. Blessings. Every time I end these videos, I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful that you guys have allowed me into your heads, your hearts, your homes, and your poor bleeding ears, because I know this voice is a chipmunk, and let me give you this information. I thank you for changing my life and allowing me to do what I feel like I'm here to do, which is be of service to people. And I will work every day to try to make sure I can be my best and give my best to you guys and help you guys change your lives as well. Okay, guys, take care, guys. Hugs and kisses. Mwah! Bye, guys.